What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind, week 3, day 1. Congrats on making it this far. I am proud of you. I hope you're enjoying these recipes as much as we are. And for the month of January, if you're just now catching, I am doing weekly meal plans based off of how I ate to lose 130 pounds, based off a ketogenic lifestyle, which focuses on limiting dairy, limiting sweeteners, no processed foods, no sugar, obviously, no soy, no wheat, just whole foods and some protein and some good healthy fats. So anyways, I will walk you through what we had for lunch today, and then I have to grab my snack. And I'm currently sipping on my afternoon coffee, which consists of black coffee, heavy cream, and a scoop of unflavored collagen. So I usually sip on this. A lot of people ask if I can go to sleep after drinking a coffee this late. I am someone who can drink a cup of coffee at 9 o'clock at night
and go to bed.
We've
always been like that.
I have never been affected by caffeine when it comes to sleep. However, I know a lot of people do have that concern. So you don't have to have it late in the day. Have your snack whenever you want. Have it in the morning. You do you. So anyways, we are going to spatchcock a chicken and make a lemon roasted chicken with vegetables. So after we walk you through the full day of eating, we'll meet you right back here, and Mom's gonna help us with this recipe for tonight. So see you in a few. Instead of avocado, I just swapped it out for some bacon, but there is lunch today.
Okay, I'm going to teach you a very easy thing to do. It sounds fancy because all the gourmet chefs say spatchcocked chicken. It's really just a chicken spread out, and it cooks evenly that way because it's flat and not, you know, with all the bumps and the conformities of the skin.
Hold that thought. What temperature do we preheat our oven to?
To 400 degrees.
400 degrees?
Yes.
Alrighty.
All right. Now the tools that you're going to need a waste bowl, because anything you throw in your waste bowl is going to go in your bone broth, your chicken soups, any of your hot marinades, things like that. So you need a place for your discard. You're going to need a wicked sharp knife, and you're going to need kitchen shears. And the only other thing along the lines of safety, you have to wash your chicken, obviously, and you take the insides, the extra out. But with your chicken, number one, you don't want it to slip around on the counter because that slip could cause you to lose a thumb. And secondly, when you're working with the chicken, make sure it's nice and dry, because again, water on the knife and
splatter.
Yeah, so you want it dry so it's safe and you can actually feel like a tacky skin on it. That's when you know it's safe. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is, if you see that obviously this is the top of the chicken and this is the tail end. If you just withdraw the skin a little bit, you can see how thick the neck is, which obviously connects into the backbone. So draw an imaginary line down that with your fingers, and that's where your cut is going to be, because this whole backbone piece is going to come out and go into your extra pot. So, and the tools you're going to do that with that's why you need heavy kitchen shears, because you want to be able to cut through those little tender bones there. So you can do it going this way, or you can do whatever way, and I'll probably switch it up because you'll get to feel the thickness of the bones. So again, I know that if you can almost feel the backbone. If you got a little skinny chicken, you can feel the backbone. So it's easy then, and I think this one is going to be easier going this way. All right, so there's no mistaking where the line is. And again, just keep making sure it's dry. So you're going to just go in and cut down. And when you put your hand in there, just be careful, because those little sharp bones can give you little cuts. It's almost like when you're pulling a lobster apart, you got to be careful of those little sharp things. And that was the thigh bone. There's one cut. How easy is that?
Now you can see the outline on the other side of the back.
Right, and that's so easy to see where you're going. Again, it follows the line. Now, I'm a right-hander, so I like to do it cutting on the right side. And again, if you got any liquid on there or on your hands, you want that gone. And you're going to do it like this. Now, if you have
that.
now, if you have a culinary degree, you do everything with your fancy knife.
Yeah.
But if you just cook in the kitchen, use your shears. Now, it gives you an opportunity to take anything out of the inside that you don't want. You know, sometimes there's pieces there. I mean, that's the bird. And leave it like that. That's actually pretty clean. The only other thing I like to do, because it's wasted energy, I always take the little tips off the wings. Just wasted. However, if you're going to tie a chicken, you want to keep that in, because if you tie a chicken, you can actually invert them, and that will hold the wings in without string. But for this purpose, it's just a waste of energy and a waste of power. And this all is perfect in a soup. So that's what we're going to have for our soup. And what I do is to keep a whole bag of these things in your freezer. Ziploc it. Get the air out. Ziploc it. Every time you make a chicken, throw all those pieces in there. If you want just the breast and you want to cut up your chicken, throw the wings in there. Throw the extra legs in there. That's how you get your chicken for your stock pot. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, that's a nice clean chicken. And again, you wash your chicken first. But you see now, you want this bird to lay flat. And you can even, I do one step further because I do want it to lie flat, especially if you're going to throw this on the grill. So, okay, I'm a nurse, so yeah, do it a little CPR. And you'll feel the snap. See how flat that is now? Nice and flat, you're conformed. So I take my chicken, because it's all ready now to go in the pot. And we want this, we chose a baking dish with the, now see how nice and flat she is? The reason we chose a baking dish is, depending on what you're going to put in there, as far as spices and herbs for your bird, the drippings, there's always going to be, all will fall down there. So you just pour that and strain it out, and you've got an au jus or a gravy or something to add to vegetables or your mashed cauliflower. All that works together, and you get the consistent flavor of whatever chicken that you're cooking today. And I'm thinking ours is a lemon chicken.
Lemon chicken, real simple.
Real simple. So now we take our lemons and we run them through and squeeze them. I usually cut the two little bottoms off, and I'll tell you why. Save what you've squeezed. And this,
I just poured it in there.
This is all poured in here with two.
No, we don't have any olive oil.
Okay,
we gotta put the oil in still.
Let me wash my hands first. So now we have our 2 tablespoons or whatever. This was a good sized lemon, because we get a good sized chicken there. So it was going to use this whole lemon. So the juice from 1 lemon is in there.
It was approximately a quarter cup, but it ended up being.
Yeah. And then we want 2 tablespoons. I don't like using olive oil. I know I'm an Italian, but we don't like using olive oil on our chicken because it tends to burn it.
No, high heat.
And it does make the skin, because it has a lower burning point. Same thing with the butter. It'll burn it, and you want your chicken done. So I always use avocado oil on my chicken.
And you finish it with butter or olive oil.
Right.
So that's 2 tablespoons of avocado oil. And we're going to basically mix that up and just paint it on the chicken.
Consider it like suntan lotion on the beach. All right. And this again will go into the gravy at the bottom. I know.
Good.
So much for the food police. Guess what?
Uh-oh. Look who I found.
Is he hungry again?
Starved. When's the chicken ready?
And make sure all of the bird is nicely greased up. That's good. All right, now she's ready for the sun.
She's ready for some garlic powder.
All right.
And I'm just gonna sprinkle garlic powder while she washes her hands.
Yes.
I'm gonna sprinkle garlic powder over the whole bird. So it's basically a lemon garlic marinade.
Lots of aromatics here.
And if you don't have a whole chicken, feel free to use this on chicken breasts and treat it as a regular marinade. And then thyme. You want to do some fresh thyme?
Oh, it smells good already. Now you can also just use the poultry seasoning, because that works really well with the lemon as well. It doesn't, the sky's the limit. Put all your special flavors in it. Make the bird yours.
And then salt and pepper. And that's it. That's how it's simple.
I think that chicken is a very boring, bland meat for me. So I heavily herb my chicken for that reason.
This is pepper.
This is pepper. All right, and now I'm going to go with the salt. All right, and that's pretty much it. Now I would, just for the purposes of you don't want your pan on the bottom to scorch with any of the initial drippings, I like to add a little bit of either chicken broth or, especially if I'm going for a gravy, I'll add about a cup of chicken broth underneath that. But because we don't need a gravy with this plan, I'm going to put about a cup of just regular water in the bottom of the pan.
Just makes cleanup easier and it keeps the moisture in.
Now, if this was wine and you wanted to make a chicken with Burgundy wine, which is wonderful for coq au vin,
or a Chardonnay or something for more of a lighter.
Again, to flavor if you wanted a gravy. But now you've got something to work with here, so that you're not going to scorch your pan, which is going to give an off flavor. It's the smoke. It's the kind of smoke you wouldn't like to flavor your chicken. One last thing. What did we say we were going to do with the lemons? What I like to do, again, chicken is plain for me. I put the lemon under the chicken. And actually, I prefer it this way up. So the lemon, as the chicken falls into as the chicken falls onto the lemon, it's getting a little more flavor. And I do the same thing on the back side. If you're just plain roasting a chicken, go ahead and stick it right into the cavity, maybe in the top cavity, throw some fresh. I mean, I like these. We just wanted dried aromatics today, but you could use your fresh thyme, your fresh parsley, your fresh sage, and put that all underneath there. And that will, as it's cooking and a little bit of steam that's coming up from the water, that's going to infuse your chicken with flavor. So use your herbs. Your herbs and your spices, they're your best friends in the kitchen.
All right, we're gonna pop it in the oven at 400 degrees until the internal temperature reaches 165, 170. Okay, so we're going to make our vegetables, and I'm gonna do my prep work now. And I'm gonna turn my scale on, and the cool thing about this scale is the screen comes out, so I can still read it. You wanna zero out the scale, so it's at 0, and get a total weight of all your vegetables that you put in. Now, how much I make will be different than how much you have, because I'm cooking for 6 people. You may be only cooking for 2. So you'll need to think about how much of each ingredient you want, play with it in your macros, that kind of thing in your food diary, and see what a good amount you should aim for. For me, I do it so much, I know what I'm aiming for. I'll tell you what I'm doing for 6, and then maybe you can take it from there. But my main thing is I just get a total weight, and I make a recipe in Carb Manager, and then I divide that recipe into 6. So I have my 1/6 serving. So this is going in with the roasted chicken, but because this will probably only take a half hour, I'm just doing the prep now. But anyways, I'm gonna get a weight on the broccoli, and pick your favorite vegetables. Right now, I'm using broccoli because that's what I have left over in my fridge right now. And I'm going to use summer squash like zucchini and yellow squash, because I was actually able to get them at my grocery store. But if you can't get summer squash, try using another delicious green vegetable. And I'm also going to do asparagus. So my total weight for the broccoli is 381 grams, and I'll tell you that in ounces. So that's 13 3/8 ounces, or 381 grams of broccoli. So write that number down. And then once you have that, you zero the scale back out to 0, and then you do your next vegetable. Okay, so I wanted to show you real quick. I'm washing my vegetables in water and vinegar, and then I just take them out and dry them off and dice them up. So I guess I forgot to tell you that step. But you'll be amazed how much comes off with a water and vinegar bath. And you will not taste the vinegar, I promise. So next up, we're gonna dice up our asparagus. I like to keep the bands on until I get it cut. And I'm basically gonna do 2 rough cuts and then toss the bottom. To make it easy, that's why I leave the band on there. So we're gonna get the weight of the asparagus. Asparagus is a great vegetable. If you want to do this all asparagus, it's another great option. Very low carb. So now we have 301 grams or 10 5/8 ounces of asparagus. Again, we're gonna zero out the scale. And next up, we're gonna get the squash's weight. And if I wanted to just get real fancy, I'll just cut the top and the bottom off of the squash and put it right in there, and that I will dice it up later, but that is 13 3/4 ounces or 391 grams of squash. So I'm gonna dice those up in smaller pieces and I'll meet you right back here. So right now I just diced up the summer squash. I like to do it in big hunks because the way it will all cook around the same amount of time. If you do really small pieces and you do, you know, all different size pieces, then it's gonna be really hard for it all to be ready at the same time. So just keep that in mind. So being that these all cook a little differently in time, that's why I'm gonna do bigger pieces like that. This way it all comes together just perfectly. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna just put some avocado oil, salt and pepper, and that'll be it. We'll put this in the oven about halfway through the cooking time of the chicken so that everything will come out around the same time. So this is the part that you have to pay attention to. I am using avocado oil to roast my veggies. Avocado is a healthy cooking oil, has a lower smoke point, so overall it's a healthier oil. So I'm going to measure it with my 2 tablespoon measuring spoon. And I'm looking for roughly about 2 tablespoons a person. And I only do for my kids 1 tablespoon. So basically there's 6 of us, 4 adults. So that's 8 tablespoons and then 1 each for my kids. So I'm looking for about 10 tablespoons of oil. But once I see it on here, I may say, you know what? We could use a little less, you know, something like that. That's why I do it a little bit at a time, because sometimes it won't need as much as I think, you know, so sometimes your eyes get the best of you. And right now it's looking like I've estimated that perfectly. This would be my 5th one. And now I'm gonna grab some salt and pepper. We're going to do salt and pepper. So start with pepper. Just a pinch, put it as much or as little as you like. I like pepper, so we're not afraid of pepper in this house. I also, when it comes out of the oven and we have it on our plate, I'll do fresh cracked pepper while we're at the table. And salt to desired taste. I'm not afraid of salt either. And I'm using pink Himalayan sea salt. Using my hands, I'm gonna mix everything up so that all the pieces are incorporated with the salt and pepper. And once it's mixed, I'm gonna mix everything up so everything is touching everything. That just makes sure that everything gets cooked around the same amount of with the same amount of taste, having everything next to it. So it gives everything a nice, delicious flavor. Oop, lost a couple. And there you have it. Now I'm gonna pop this in that same oven with my chicken, 400 degrees for about a half hour. But I am gonna watch it to make sure, because sometimes, you know, judging by how big or small you have the pieces, if they're smaller, they may cook a little quicker. So just keep an eye on it, but I aim for about 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so we're going to pull the chicken out and tent it with some aluminum foil and let it finish cooking with the aluminum foil on top. And then at the last 5 minutes or so, pull the aluminum foil off. And we'll be back to check on it in about 15 minutes. Alrighty, the chicken is out of the oven. It's looking delicious. We're gonna let it rest for about 5 minutes and then we're gonna cut it up. Take the breast off the breastbone. With your knife, you can feel what that breastbone is and you can detach the whole breast off and it makes it a lot easier to chop up. So Kyle is using that bone as a reference point and running his light knife down it and that whole breast will come off in one piece. So it makes it much easier to dice up and for presentation purposes. So there's one of the breasts and he'll do the same thing to the other side. And let me see if I can get an angle here so that you can see. But pretty much run the knife on that bone and it's easy peasy. And then as you can see, there's 2 beautiful breasts with skin. And also there's plenty of thigh and, you know, drumstick that we're going to put on the plate too, but that was breast. There's the finished product of the roasted veggies. Seriously, you got to try this recipe. So delicious. And here's my plate. I have about 6 ounces of the veggies and 6 ounces of the spatchcock chicken. And all the recipes for this video will be down below. So check out that link and make sure you enjoy this yummy, yummy dinner. Alrighty.
The chicken's still on the counter.
That's okay.
Oh. Are you sure we could?
I can zoom in. No. I should put that.
Blooper.
We were just about to film the hope you enjoyed this video and realized our chicken's still on the counter. So obviously the buy comes before we finished filming our
What
video.
chicken?
What chicken? It's cooked. So anyways, have a good day. I'm Jess, you're watching Keto Rewind and Mom's here today. So we'll see you tomorrow at the next video. Bye-bye.